Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're going deep into the world of startups and innovation with Peter Thiel's 0 to 1.
Right.
You know, you've provided some excerpts from the book, so let's unpack some of these ideas and see how they might apply to the entrepreneurial journey, for anyone listening.
Sure.
This book's fascinating, isn't it?
It really is.
Based on his experience, PayPal, Palantir, Facebook, SpaceX. I mean,
been around. He's seen a lot.
He's seen it all.
He's seen it all.
Yeah.
What I think is really fascinating about Thiel is that he really challenges, all the conventional wisdom about competition, monopolies, and what it really takes to build a business, business that's going to last.
To build something that lasts.
To build something that lasts. Yeah. One of the things that's so fascinating about Thiel is that he really forces you to rethink some of those assumptions that we have about competition and monopolies and
really what it takes to build a successful business.
Exactly.
He kind of throws you a curveball right away with this 0 to 1 idea.
Yeah.
Creating something truly new, right?
Right.
Not just
copying
what's already out there.
Exactly.
How do you kind of interpret that?
So Thiel argues that 0 to 1 is really about it's about generating real progress through technological innovation. It's creating things that increase wealth, not just spreading the wealth that already exists.
Okay.
It's about going from 0 to 1.
Yeah. So globalization might, spread wealth around.
Sure.
But it doesn't
actually create
it in the same way that a new invention does.
That's right.
Right.
That's right.
Like
think about the first computer.
The first computer.
The first search engine. Those were 0 to 1 moments. I think the real point he's making is that globalization without new technology is ultimately unsustainable in a world of scarce resources.
I see. He has this really stark quote, "Every moment in business happens only once."
Yeah.
The next Bill Gates will not build an operating system.
Right.
The next Larry Page or Sergey Brin won't make a search engine.
Right.
It's almost like a wake-up call, don't you think?
It is a wake-up call.
Yeah. It reminds us that
that simply trying to replicate past successes isn't enough.
Isn't enough.
We need genuine innovation.
Right. Especially for,
Especially if we're talking about the future of the American economy.
Right, exactly.
We need to be creating new things.
This is where I think things get really interesting. Thiel makes this bold claim that monopolies are actually good for innovation.
Yeah.
How do we wrap our heads around that?
Well, I think it's definitely a controversial statement, but I think it's often misunderstood.
Right.
He's not advocating for monopolies that stifle competition or exploit consumers through unfair practices. He's talking about what he calls creative monopolies, which are companies that create their own markets by offering something truly unique.
So like Apple with the iPhone.
Exactly.
I mean, they were able to invest so heavily in R&D.
Yes.
Because they weren't constantly fighting for survival in a crowded market.
I mean, think about it.
Yeah.
The iPhone was a revolutionary product.
Totally.
And the profits that Apple made allowed them to keep innovating, pushing the boundaries even further.
Right. So those profits were almost like a reward for creating greater abundance.
That's exactly right.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. And then he takes it even further. He critiques the whole idea of competition as an ideology.
Right.
Right? He says this obsession with beating everyone else can actually hold back innovation.
It can.
I mean, that's kind of mind-blowing, isn't it?
Well, it is, and he uses his own personal experiences to kind of illustrate this point. He talks about, the cutthroat environment of law school and that intense competition for a Supreme Court clerkship.
I see.
And he realized that all of that focus on competition was blinding him
to other paths.
To other potentially more fulfilling paths.
So it's not just about working hard, it's about working on the right things.
Exactly.
Okay.
He argues that this hyper-competitive mindset can lead to a race to the bottom, where everyone is so focused on just outdoing each other that they forget about creating something genuinely new and valuable.
Yeah. This makes me think about all the rivalries we see in the business world.
Oh, absolutely.
Like Coke versus Pepsi.
Yeah.
Or,
Or Oracle and Siebel Systems back in the day.
Yeah, exactly. Companies get so caught up
absolutely
in fighting each other
that
they forget about the bigger picture.
Right, and that kind of destructive competition can actually prevent the kind of progress that Thiel is advocating for.
So what's the alternative? What's Thiel suggest?
Well, he argues for a long-term approach. Embracing what he calls definite optimism.
Definite optimism.
It's this belief that the future can be better if we actively plan and work towards making it so.
Not just hoping that things will get better.
Right, exactly. He contrasts definite optimism with what he calls indefinite optimism, which is basically just hoping for progress without a concrete plan.
I see.
And he believes that a lot of modern thinking, from finance to politics to even scientific research, is trapped in this indefinite mindset.
So we need to plan for the future. We want not just wait for it to happen.
We need to be intentional.
Okay.
And to do that, I think we need to understand certain realities.
Right.
Like the power law.
The power law.
The power law.
Okay, break that down for us.
Sure.
What's the power law?
So the power law describes a distribution where a small number of entities have the vast majority of the impact or value.
I see.
So, Thiel uses the example of venture capital, where a few wildly successful investments can outweigh many failures.
So it's not about being consistently good.
Right.
It's about hitting those home runs.
It's about those home runs.
Okay, I see.
And this has implications for career choices, too.
How so?
Well, Thiel suggests that joining a truly exceptional company, even if you don't have ownership, can be more valuable than starting your own average company.
That's a really interesting perspective. It kind of goes against that whole your own boss mentality.
It really does.
That's so pervasive.
But it really forces you to think about where you can have the most impact and create the most value.
Makes me wonder, though, how do you identify those exceptional companies?
Right.
What? Why do you identify those 0 to 1 companies?
Thiel believes it comes down to uncovering what he calls secrets.
Secrets.
Now, he doesn't mean, conspiracies or anything like that.
Not the...
Yeah, he means important truths.
Okay.
That just aren't widely known.
So secrets to success, basically.
Secrets to success.
Okay.
But the problem is that we've been kind of conditioned to overlook these secrets.
Right.
We're so focused on incrementalism, risk aversion, and playing it safe.
That we miss those big opportunities.
So we need to be
open to
more open to those unconventional ideas.
Exactly. Think about like Airbnb and Uber.
Yeah.
I mean, they were built on insights that were
right.
technically open to anyone, but most people just didn't see the potential.
Didn't see the potential.
Didn't see it.
So he's not just saying be different.
Right.
He's saying think differently.
Think differently.
Yeah, okay.
He's encouraging us to cultivate what he calls a contrarian mindset, to question conventional wisdom, and to actively look for those opportunities that others might be missing.
Okay, so we're starting to see how Thiel's thinking applies to, finding, a good company to join.
Right.
But what about building a company from scratch? What are his thoughts on that?
Well, let's delve into that.
Okay.
He has some fascinating insights about the importance of founding teams. Okay, so that sounds like a great place to pick up in part 2.
It does.
Can't wait to hear more.
All right. Picking up where we left off, Thiel really emphasizes those founding teams.
Makes sense, right? I mean,
he does.
A company is built by people, not just ideas.
Absolutely. And he draws on his experience with what's known as the PayPal Mafia.
Yeah.
That was that group of early PayPal employees who went on to found or invest in
some really successful ventures.
Some incredibly successful ventures.
I've heard of that.
I think most people have at this point.
What made them so effective? Was it just that they were brilliant individuals, or? Well,
Thiel argues it was more than just raw talent.
Okay.
They shared a really strong sense of mission and camaraderie.
Okay.
That common purpose really fueled their success.
So it's about having that shared vision.
I think so.
Something that kind of binds the team together.
Yes.
Beyond just individual ambitions.
I think that's right.
Okay. And what about the practical aspects of building a company? What does Thiel say about that?
Well, he really emphasizes the need for for a clear organizational structure.
Okay.
He argues that everyone's incentives should be aligned towards the long-term success of the company.
Right.
Not just short-term gains.
So making sure everyone is rowing in the same direction.
Exactly. He's a big proponent of using equity compensation to achieve this alignment.
I see.
It gives everyone a stake in the company's future, motivating them to create new value instead of just extracting what's already there.
Makes sense when people feel like owners.
Right.
They're going to be more invested in the success.
Exactly.
And it's not just about the financial incentives.
No.
It's about fostering a sense of ownership.
That's right.
And responsibility.
Yes.
Okay, so we've got a great team, a clear mission, a solid structure in place.
Right.
What's next?
Well, you need to get your product into the hands of customers.
Right.
And Thiel challenges a common assumption in Silicon Valley.
What is that?
That great products sell themselves.
Oh.
He says that distribution is just as crucial as the product itself.
That's a really important point.
It is.
You could have the best product in the world.
Right.
But if nobody knows about it.
Exactly.
Or can access it.
If you can't get it into people's hands.
It's not going to succeed.
It's not going to succeed.
Right.
He outlines different distribution strategies, ranging from complex sales, like, landing a government contract, to something like viral marketing that spreads organically.
So different products require different approaches.
Absolutely. There's no one-size-fits-all solution.
No one-size-fits-all.
He uses examples like SpaceX, which won a $1 billion contract from NASA to illustrate the power of complex sales.
Okay.
And then he contrasts that with PayPal. Right.
Which grew rapidly using a referral program, which was a form of viral marketing.
So it's about finding the distribution channel that works best for your specific product and market.
Your product, your market,
Okay.
And not spreading yourself too thin.
Right.
Trying to do everything at once.
Right. It's about focusing.
It's about
focusing your resources.
Where they'll have the biggest impact.
Where they will have the biggest impact, yes.
This makes me think about that power law concept that we discussed earlier.
Oh, yeah.
Does that apply to distribution as well?
Absolutely. Thiel argues that distribution often follows a power law distribution as well.
Meaning?
Meaning one channel might be far more effective than all the others combined.
It's almost like finding that secret to reaching your target market.
That's a good way to put it.
Not just relying on the obvious or traditional approaches.
Not just the traditional approaches, exactly.
It requires that same
contrarian thinking.
Contrarian thinking we talked about earlier.
Yes.
And it's not just about selling to customers.
No.
You also have to sell your company to potential employees.
That's right.
And investors.
That's right. That's a good point.
You need to attract top talent.
Right.
And secure funding.
If you want to build something truly great.
Yeah.
Thiel offers some really insightful advice on crafting a compelling narrative for your company.
He does.
It's about communicating your vision clearly and persuasively.
Absolutely.
Emphasizing your unique value proposition and building a strong brand identity.
Yeah. I think it's really about...
So it's not enough to just have a great idea. You need to be able to...
communicate it.
Communicate that idea.
Communicate it in a way that resonates with people.
Right?
And I think authenticity is really important here.
Authenticity. Yeah. People can spot a phony a mile away. Thiel stresses the importance of being genuine and transparent.
Okay, so it all comes back to that strong foundation that we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
A shared vision, a committed team, a clear understanding of what makes your company special.
Exactly. It's about building a company that's adaptable, innovative, and built to thrive in a constantly evolving world.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what 0 to 1 is ultimately about.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground, from finding those hidden secrets to building a strong team and mastering distribution.
Right.
What else does Thiel have in store for us?
Well, in the final part, we'll delve into his analysis of the clean tech bubble.
Yeah.
It's a fascinating case study that illustrates a lot of the points we've discussed today.
Okay.
And we'll explore his perspective on the future of technology.
Yeah.
Specifically, his views on artificial intelligence.
AI.
It's a topic that's on everyone's mind these days.
For sure.
And Thiel has some unique and thought-provoking insights to share.
Sounds like we've got a lot to unpack in part 3.
I think we do.
Looking forward to it.
All right.
Okay, we're back for the final part of our deep dive into 0 to 1.
All right.
We've covered a lot of ground, from finding those hidden secrets to team building and mastering distribution.
Right.
Now, let's explore Thiel's take on the clean tech bubble.
Okay.
It's a pretty fascinating case study, isn't it?
It really is, yeah. I think it really demonstrates how even, a sector with such a positive and important goal, like clean energy, can be vulnerable to the same pitfalls that we saw with, the dot-com bubble.
Yeah.
A lot of good intentions,
right.
but that doesn't always translate to success.
Thiel points out that a lot of those clean tech companies stumbled because they were so fixated on the macro trend, the need for clean energy.
Sure.
But they didn't pay enough attention to the details of actually building a sustainable business.
I think they fell into that trap of indefinite optimism we talked about earlier, hoping that the sheer importance of their mission would guarantee success.
But good intentions don't pay the bills.
They don't.
You need a solid plan.
Right.
A unique offering. A way to actually reach your customers.
You got to be able to execute.
Execute, yeah.
Thiel uses his 7 key questions to analyze those clean tech failures. They really make you think critically about every facet of your business.
Okay.
From the tech itself, to the team, to the market, to how you're going to distribute it, and whether, your plan is actually viable in the long run.
It's not just about having answers to those questions.
Yeah.
It's about having the right answers.
It's about the right answers.
Right.
And Thiel argues that many of these clean tech companies just didn't have those solid answers. For instance, they often overestimated how advanced their technology really was.
Right. So they claimed to be revolutionary.
Yeah.
But in reality, they weren't that much better than what already existed.
Exactly. And they also often misjudged when to enter the market.
Right.
They sort of assumed that the demand for clean energy was so huge that they would succeed no matter what. Regardless of the competition or
where the technology was at.
Where the technology was.
Timing is everything, isn't it?
Timing is everything.
You need the right product at the right time.
Absolutely.
With the right team.
The right team, yeah.
Thiel contrasts these failures with the success of Tesla.
Yes.
He argues they're one of the few clean tech companies that got those 7 key questions right.
They did.
I mean, Tesla definitely had a technological edge.
Yeah.
A powerful brand.
Absolutely.
A leader that people followed.
Yes.
And a clearly defined target market. They understood the importance of timing too, right?
They did. I mean, they secured that crucial government loan at a really pivotal moment before the clean tech bubble burst and those subsidies dried up. That is a smart move.
Yeah. Tesla's success really shows that it's totally possible to build a thriving business.
It does.
Even in a tough sector. But it takes more than good intentions.
It does.
You need a vision, a solid plan, and the execution to bring it all together.
It reminds me of that quote by Thomas Edison.
Oh yeah.
Vision without execution is just hallucination.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, let's shift gears a little bit and talk about Thiel's perspective on the future of technology.
Right.
Specifically, artificial intelligence.
Okay.
It's a hot topic these days.
It is.
And I'm curious to hear what he has to say.
He has some really interesting and perhaps controversial views.
Oh.
He doesn't really buy into that whole robots taking over the world narrative that's so popular these days.
Oh, he's not a doomsayer.
He's not a doomsayer.
Okay.
He sees computers as tools that can enhance human capabilities.
Yeah.
Not replace us entirely.
Okay.
He emphasizes this idea of complementarity.
Complementarity.
Yeah, finding ways to combine human strengths with what computers do best to solve those complex problems that we face.
So it's kind of like a partnership.
It is. It is
more of a partnership.
Yeah. He uses the example of PayPal's fraud detection system, which combined sophisticated algorithms with human oversight.
Okay.
And that combination led to far better results than either could achieve on their own.
Almost like 2 heads are better than one.
Yes.
But applied to humans and machines.
Applied to humans and machines, exactly.
Interesting.
This whole idea of human-computer symbiosis is a theme that really runs throughout the book.
Okay.
Thiel argues that the most valuable companies of the future will be those that find ways to empower people, not make them obsolete.
That's a refreshing perspective.
It is.
You know, so much of the conversation around AI is about fear and job displacement. And he's saying, you know, look, we can use this to make our lives better, to achieve more than we ever could alone.
That's right. And he encourages entrepreneurs to build companies with that principle in mind, to focus on how technology can augment human capabilities.
I like that. That's I think it's a more optimistic and maybe even more humanistic way to think about the future. It puts the focus back on us, you know, on what we can accomplish when we work together.
Yes.
Not just with each other.
Not just with each other.
But with these incredible tools.
With these incredible tools.
That we're creating.
It's a powerful message, especially given, you know, the anxieties that so many people feel about technology and its impact.
Thiel reminds us that technology is a tool.
It's a tool. It's up to us to decide how to use it.
We have the power to shape a more positive future.
And that brings us back to Thiel's core message, right? The future isn't set in stone. It's not something that just happens to us. We have the agency to shape it through our choices, our actions.
And our ideas.
And our ideas.
But to do that, we need a certain mindset, don't we?
I think we do. We need that definite optimism.
Definite optimism.
The belief that we can create a better world. Through deliberate effort.
We need to question the status quo.
Yes.
Challenge those assumptions.
Challenge those assumptions.
Think for ourselves.
Think for ourselves, and we need to build things that are truly new.
New and valuable.
And valuable. Things that go from 0 to 1. You know, I think 0 to 1 is really a call to action. It's an invitation to participate.
Participate in building the future we want to see.
In building the future we want to see.
And it's a great reminder that the things that seem impossible are often the most worthwhile.
I think that's right.
So go out there and build something amazing.
Go build something amazing.
That's what Thiel's urging us to do.
That's what he's urging us to do.
That's a great place to wrap up our deep dive into 0 to 1.
Okay.
Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for listening.
We'll see you next time for another deep dive into a new topic.